Good evening. I hope everybody is fine. I'm Gareth, for those who don't know me. I am an English teacher and I'm starting a series of lives where I will interview other English speakers, and there'll be a variety of teachers and other English speakers. Got a very special first guest. I have a coordinator from an English school I worked at called Praxedes. I'll just invite him in now. Uh, I hope. Okay, yeah, just waiting for his entrance. I will ask guests who I invite a series of questions about what English means to them. Okay. Okay. I think he's entered. Okay. Okay. Praxedes, are you there? Yep. Okay. Should be joining. I think we have a technical issue here. Okay. If you can be okay. Okay. Should be. There we are. You're upside down, Praxedes.
Ew. Am I
Okay.
upside down?
Yeah, you're
Sometimes
upside
I
down.
feel like that. Sometimes I feel
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. Good evening. How
Good
are you?
evening. Pretty cool. About
Okay.
you?
Yeah. I had a little disaster the end of last week. As you may be aware, I've had my account hacked. So instead of having my past audience of almost 5,000, I've managed to find an account with a bit less, but I'm going to have to rebuild what was there. So I had an idea to have interviews with various English speakers and English language professionals. I thought, who better to start with than a coordinator of a certain English school? That was you. Okay, so the first question I would like to ask is, what made you interested in learning English in the first place?
Well, English, it has been such part of my life, even before I think what English language was, because it came to me by music, or sometimes by names of some characters, like when I heard Mickey Mouse or
Yeah.
Dracula. Well, where is it from? Well, it's not Brazilian names, of course.
No, not
And then once I discovered by my sister, my elder sister, she doesn't speak English. She doesn't
Yeah.
speak English. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
She told me, well, it's a kind of language that can, connect you to the whole world.
Yeah.
Because it's not a language from one country. Indeed, it was.
No.
But now it is from everywhere. If you want to get in touch with people,
I don't
if you want
think
to understand the world better. Say,
I don't
please.
think English is a language that comes from one place. if you look at it, for example, the indigenous British people, the Celts, had their own language, and a few Celtic words are in modern English. Not that many. I don't know which they are off the top of my head. But then there's elements of Latin, for example, curriculum vitae, pro rata. Salary comes from salarium. That was a thing of the ancient Romans. Then there was the Vikings, so we got many Norse words and ideas. Then there was the Angles and Saxons, so that's more Danes, so more Norse or whatever their language is, and ancient Germanic from the Saxons. Then we had the Normans that brought a bit of Old French, so words like restaurants, naive, they're in the English dictionary, but aren't even slightly English as words. So English is already a language from everywhere before it left England. So that's an excellent point about it being, I don't think there's another language that's such a big mix of so many things. There's even more recent things. The word shampoo, that's in English, which I've worked out is also in Portuguese since I've been here. It's actually a Hindi word. So it came from India, this word. Maybe where it came from Portuguese as well. So you had this interest from your sister and hearing things. So how did your formal and more formal studies begin with English?
Well, it began in an awful way. The first time I decided to study English, and it was in early ages, 7 or 8 years old. Yes. Someone told me that I should study grammar.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Simple present. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I tried, and I discovered that it wouldn't take me anyway. Perhaps my father, he gave me a picture dictionary. There are pictures and names. You have an alligator picture, an alligator below, and then I got this. Well, that might be another way. Not studying the grammar first, and then I started studying by myself. Later on, I entered in an English course. It was, BBC English course. Today it's named back. I don't know if it still exists anymore. I think it doesn't. And then I started to study English for this. Afterwards, I entered to UFBA, Universidade Federal da Bahia, for Letras Vernáculas com Inglês. And later on, I studied a little bit of neurolinguistics in my first experience abroad, now in English. So all my career and my hobbies are made is London, England, London.
Yeah. Oh, there isn't another London, I don't think.
Of course, that should be.
So what era were you in London then? Do you remember which neighborhood you lived in?
Barely remember. It was a very short moment in my life, and my English at that time was not that easy.
Yeah.
Because of the English we've learned here didn't make me speak properly. But when day by day living, I could get it better. Everything was difficult to me. Names were difficult to fix. Pronunciation, it was difficult to fix. Understanding, it was difficult to fix. Everything was very hard. But when I could come back, it was pretty much better to me. Then I could start to working with English, helping people to intake this language that I consider one of the best discoveries in my life. Indeed, it changed my life.
It's different for me to say that because it's my native language. My life before I came here would have been difficult in England without English. But I suppose learning Portuguese did introduce me to a lot of different things. I do enjoy a lot of Brazilian films I've seen, and a lot of Brazilian music's very good. A lot of it's very bad. I guess you're aware of that anyway. Okay, so you had the full academic study. What parts of English-speaking culture do you like, or is there any countries that specifically interest you? Any specific, well, things about related to the English language that you've really thought made your enthusiasm grow for the language generally?
Well, everything that's connected to English language is very interesting to me. Literature is very nice. Yes, even the obvious ones like Shakespeare, it's obvious,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, very obvious.
But it gave me a different concept of seeing the language, the way of the construction. Yes, the Shakespearean way. Yes, open my mind for it's not necessarily subject, verb, and complement. It can be different. Wow. Okay. In terms of the language, in terms of music, of course, I'm a huge fan of heavy metal, and also some things that are not so heavy, but English too, like Deep Purple.
Some people would call it heavy, but I wouldn't.
Yes.
There's a specific city in England that seems to probably has a lot of bands you really love. Birmingham. Birmingham seem familiar for any reason as a city?
Well,
Birmingham.
Yes, I know.
Birmingham. The city of Black Sabbath, Deep Purple,
all right.
Judas Priest, Slade. I don't know if you're also a fan of them.
All right. Because the city that Ozzy Osbourne was arrested. He was arrested again. He lived in Ozzy Osbourne, who was arrested and lived in Birmingham. In this one.
Really?
Yes.
He's probably been arrested more than once, Ozzy Osbourne.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a very musical city. It's a very musical city.
Yeah, it's the city of heavy metal and also glam rock. There was Slade and Wizard, two very successful glam rock bands. Famous for Christmas songs more than anything else to English people that are of a certain age. People who remember the era more know them better. I'm a big Oasis fan, for example, and I know they were very strongly influenced by Slade. So they're a band that I have a bit of appreciation for because the big band of my lifetime said they were good. Practically anybody Noel Gallagher said was good, I've gone and looked for their album and listened to them.
You've told me that you're a fan of Oasis. You've told me before that you are an Oasis fan.
Yeah.
That's in the 90s.
Yeah, that's when they became famous. So they became famous, first album 1994, so I would have been a very small child when they became famous. And they split up in 2009, I believe it was. Their last album was 2008. And one kind of irritating but good story was I was doing my A-levels, so I was about 18, I think, at this time nearly. That's the last bit of high school before you go to university. And I was discussing with other friends who were also big Oasis fans. They were so popular, especially with people in the north of England, especially working class people as well, because of their background. They were working class northerners, and they kind of were more culturally relevant than any other band ever to this group of people. Of course, the Beatles were working class northerners, but they did spend a lot of time pretending not to be working class, wearing their fancy suits on stage and stuff. The Sunday best, as my granddad would have called it, when he had his fancy clothes for Sunday. But they had it on the stage all the time. But Oasis, he had his parka, the type of coat that's quite a cheap type of coat. And even though he's a millionaire, he still dresses like he's poor. So it's quite cool. Liam Gallagher looks cool, whatever he wears. He could wear bin bags and still look cooler than most people. But we were about
fan. Say the
fan. Yeah. But my friends and I were planning to go see them live in Manchester. The city I'm from is about an hour and a half on a train away from Manchester. So kind of centre north, Manchester's northwest. So it's quite a close city to us. It's not far for us to go. And you know, a hometown gig is always going to be special because it's a hometown gig. We didn't get organised enough, and we didn't go. And 3 months after this gig we missed, they split up. Furious. Missed my one chance in life to see Oasis live, because now they're finished and they're not got back together yet. And if they do, the tickets will be far too expensive.
I'm curious about something. Tell me, have you, of course, maybe, about the shows, concerts, I mean, concerts of those bands that here in Brazil, we had bangers like me, consider icons. Like, okay, I've seen them here in Brazil, but I mean there, in the homeland, like Iron Maiden, the proper Black Sabbath. How is it like being there? Or Pink Floyd also, because Pink Floyd is also nice, but not heavy metal, I know. But it's something that is amazing. How is it to be there and sing there?
There is a devoted band of metalheads, but there's this annoying group of people that exist in Brazil as well, I believe. You know, that group of people who say they listen to everything, but then if you put on some Black Sabbath or Metal Death, I don't like heavy metal. You said you liked everything. Liar. You don't like everything if you don't like heavy metal. That's the biggest lie.
There's no how to like everything. There's no how to like everything. Some people say, some students say, that, what kind of music do you like? And so they say that in saudable Portuguese, I am eclético. It doesn't exist. There's no eclectics. Yes, okay, I like everything. Okay, I like everything much. I like arrocha, I like sambão, I like, what? Grunge? No, nobody likes everything. Nobody.
No, it's not possible. Yeah, that does happen a bit. But going back to the thing about how they're received there, I've not actually been to a big concert in England. I've actually been to a lot more in Brazil because my wife likes, my in-laws like, my father-in-law's crazy into British rock music.
Lucky you.
Yeah, it's good. His favourite's the Beatles, but he's also very big on Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Pink Floyd. That's an interesting one. Pink Floyd are still respected, but they're more popular in Brazil than they are in Britain. Much more.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Nobody's saying they're bad in Britain, but they are a lot more popular in Brazil. Not sure why. They're a good band. They have every right to be popular. But another thing, the Beatles are more popular here than they are in Britain. Actually, Led Zeppelin were more commercially successful in Britain than the Beatles were. Just internationally, it's not quite the same. But I 100% believe Led Zeppelin are better than the Beatles, or were better, and neither of them are still there. The music's still
I'm wondering how many people at this moment is. I'm wondering how many people who's watching this live.
I have 5 reasons.
Great. Okay, tell me
5
what.
reasons. Reason number one: John Bonham is a better drummer than Ringo Starr was a better drummer. That's reason number one. Reason number 2: John Paul Jones is a better bass guitarist than Paul McCartney.
All right.
Reason number 3: Jimmy Page is a better guitarist than. You'd have to say George Harrison, because he was the best out of all of the Beatles ones. Although he wasn't the only, he was the best. But Jimmy Page was better. Number 4.
What can you say about Robert Plant?
Robert Plant is actually a charismatic frontman who is the main vocalist, and he's more distinctive. Number 5. The Beatles have less songs about Vikings. Immigrant Song is better than anything the Beatles did. And that's enough to get reason 5. Anybody who wants to agree, disagree, or try argue the case back in the comments, you're more than welcome. I would enjoy the debate. So what do you think, Praxedes? A solid 5 reasons?
I just love the 5 reasons, and I would add one extra.
What's that?
Well, The Beatles, they had a historical moment different than the Led Zeppelin one.
Yeah,
Yes, I think it was, yes. So, to do what the Led Zeppelin has done, and what we can say, the Beatles, they made a lot of experiences with, yes, composing songs with different cultures aspects. Well, Zeppelin did it as good, or
yeah,
maybe better, I would say, yes.
yeah. There is the use of
And,
Indian music,
oh yes,
isn't there?
yeah. But the
And
sixth one is there are more Led Zeppelin members alive than Beatles.
that also helps. But I think Led Zeppelin's one of the few real great bands where you could argue the drummer was the best one.
But I'm
You
not
could argue.
talking. I'm not telling bad things about Beatles. Of course, yes, I really
No,
like
no, no.
Beatles, and I
Uh,
know how
yeah,
much
I'm not saying
Zeppelin.
bad things
Heavy
about
rock
them.
is amazing.
It's just everybody number ones them all the time, and I don't think it's exactly right.
It's,
They have
yeah.
their great
I,
merits. I think sometimes other bands of that era deserve a bit more credit for what they were doing as well. So I think that's a.
yeah.
It's. I think their success is merited, absolutely. But I think some other bands maybe deserved a bit more success and memory. There's a band particularly that I think probably were more influential for how rock music became. The Kinks. Do you know them?
Yes,
Yep. They,
yes.
my uncle was telling me a story that they didn't break the USA. That's why they're not as internationally popular as some British bands, because they got caught in
Oh,
possession of drugs when they were trying to enter. Which makes me wonder, how did the Rolling Stones get out there? How did Keith Richards manage to walk down the street without being caught with drugs? So, yeah, that happened. But the Kinks were making heavier music before the Beatles did it.
but
And
can you conceive any rock band um, that can really be a rock band without a certain? I know it might be strange speaking about that, even for a professional in academic professional of English. But tell me,
Mhm.
is it not difficult to conceive a rock band that any of them have one of other contact with any kind of drug? And I mean alcohol too, tobacco too,
No,
marijuana too,
no, 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 no. I don't
mushrooms,
think.
whatever. Coffee, coffee,
Uh,
coffee, coffee, coffee,
yeah,
coffee.
yeah, there is that. I don't think there's. I wouldn't be able to name. If you decided not to listen to anything that a addict or alcoholic made, you'd be sat in silence.
No,
So
there are gospel bands. There is white metal.
white metal, not actually heard it. So none of these guys touch anything illicit.
I, uh, I, 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 I think that gospel music, the only gospel music I like is reggae music. The rest, I don't
What
like it
about
very
kind of
much.
Ray Charles gospel? You could
Gospel, well,
argue as a
gospel,
gospel.
gospel is that, well, basically gospel is the song that talks about God, yes,
Yeah,
or Jehovah, or Jah, or Yahweh, whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
that talk about it. They praise
Reggae,
the
I do
Lord,
really like. Yeah, I do really like reggae.
and it is the gospel, isn't it? Jah is God,
Yeah,
and the elements
yeah.
they use in the lyrics are Christian elements. Anyway,
Hmm.
Christian sounds strange, but it is. Yeah,
Hmm.
Zion, Mount Zion,
Yeah,
and many other ones. This is so they are gospel. But if you talk about reggae and talk about marijuana, it should be ridiculous. There is also a drug
yeah,
anyway involved in nice music producing
yeah.
for the good or
And
for the
Lucy in
bad.
the Skies with Diamonds and about LSD.
That's right.
Supersonic has no passing cocaine references either. there's,
Jefferson Airplane, everything is about.
yeah, so
Yeah,
there's.
that's it.
I think it is fundamentally when people want to just limit Bob Marley to being about marijuana. I think it's pretty much thinly veiled racism. He should be a symbol of peace to the same level that John Lennon supposedly is. Um, John Lennon actually probably took more drugs than Bob Marley, but people don't mention that. and it's the black artist that might have smoked a bit of weed. That's the druggie, and the other guy's a symbol of peace. I think John Lennon has a few songs about peace. I think 80% of Bob Marley's music's about peace or anti-corruption. But I think a lot of people struggle with Jamaican dialect. I kind of learned quite a bit of Jamaican dialect just because of how much I liked reggae. So I kind of understand Jamaican quite well. But I think
it sounds very particular, very, very peculiar. Yeah.
They just got a way of appearing.
That's one of the things I like English. You can see many faces of it all over the world. In Canada, in England, different ones. In Brazil, Brazilian people speak in English too. It's specific way of speaking.
It's like, I do like Gilberto Gil's covers of Bob Marley songs, but you can sometimes, he's like singing it with British pronunciation, because Bob Marley would be like, yeah, instead of you. And he sings you. It's like, he's gone and used my pronunciation instead of a Jamaican guy's. But otherwise, how would you tell the difference if it wasn't a bit different? So, yeah, I think Bob Marley as a lyricist and could even say poet is undervalued quite a lot. I think it's a lot of it's prejudice against Jamaicans. I think there's a lot of people, you hear so often Bob Dylan is the greatest lyricist in English. Great case for it, but I would have Bob Marley ahead of him, or at least level.
That album, this album you told of Gilberto Gil, the name was Kaya Nagandaya, something like that.
Yeah, that's the one.
It was an amazing thing because ages ago, when he was just a musician, while in Brazil we were struggling in that dictatorship moment. Yes, he was arrested because he has one joint in his pocket. That's one, and then he's arrested for this. And then it comes a lot of difficulty. So years later, he had become the Minister of Culture in Brazil. What does he do? Go to Jamaica. He went to Jamaica and recorded a full album, talk about Bob Marley. He had smoked a lot of marijuana there. What it is besides a delicious vengeance?
Yeah, I suppose
that historical vendetta, I would say.
Yeah, I would love to go to Jamaica. Like, it's in the top 5 countries I've not visited that I want to visit. Money is the thing. That's the main issue here. But there and Mexico are the top 2. I think Cuba would make up my top 3 places I'd like to visit. Need to learn some Spanish though before I go to 2 of those. But it's definitely a place I would really like to go, and that's a place I got interested in because of music of the country. There is a lot of Jamaican influence in British culture. It's maybe there's quite a lot. A lot of Jamaican slang. Reggae is very popular. There's a lot of rock music that has reggae built into it. You listen to The Clash. There's a lot of reggae influence in their music, as an example. And it was a very important immigrant group in the past. After the Second World War, there was they were called the Windrush generation. They come on a big vessel called the Windrush. Loads of people to come and work because of how many dead young men there was after the Second World War. So it was this generation that came in then. It was one of the most significant and important major immigration waves that happened. It has affected the culture quite well. We don't actually have carnivals generally in England, but there's one in my city in the Jamaican suburb, and there's one in London as well. And it's not the one in Leeds is in a place called, might say Leeds, it's a place called Chapeltown. It's in the east of the city. So I've not actually been to it, but I think I should have gone. Let's see if I'm there at the right time. So this is a West Indian carnival, we'd say, because West Indies is a few countries, not just Jamaica. But I think most people are Jamaica. So there's this carnival there, and the other one in London is called Notting Hill. There is a film called Notting Hill with Hugh Grant in. It's probably quite famous here as well. That used to be a poorer neighbourhood that had quite a lot of Caribbean residents. Now it's been gentrified and it's full of posh people, but the carnival's still there. So, yeah, the two carnivals that exist in Britain, I think they're around August time, so when it's actually sunny, supposedly. It's when we would have the two carnivals, but it's not really anything specifically English about it. It's the Jamaican people that make it. So, yeah, we do have that influence as well. I think a lot of people don't realise. They think English people all look like me, and that's not true.
You talked about carnival.
Yeah.
About carnival, and how about how much you like carnival here in Brazil? How much do you like?
It was very disappointing not to have the last carnival or not have the next one. I do really enjoy it. Big street party. I was a bit scarred about Brazilian beer from the first carnival I went to. It was sponsored by Skin. That's not a good look if you got people coming, especially from Europe. Imagine an English or German person thinking your beer's like that, they'd be horrified. And a German especially, they read a German-looking word on the can and then drink Skin. They're going to be disappointed. Maybe upset and angry. Yeah, it didn't give me a good impression of Brazilian beers. There are some good Brazilian beers, as I did a live on my Instagram account I lost, but it's on Facebook and YouTube. I did try a very good beer from a local brewery, and there are some good beers in Brazil. It's quite new.
Which ones? Which ones are good?
Out of the commons, Sarah Malch and Eisenbahn are good.
It's not that common.
It's not that common, but
I mean more quebrada beer.
Quebrada
beer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And how about the quebradas beer?
The cheap ones are good. I'd say Bohemia and Devasa are drinkable for the cheap ones. They're reasonable for cheap beer. What else?
And what's your opinion about Skin?
Skin.
I have to ask you.
It's the most horrible thing I've ever drunk in my life. Most horrible.
That's not even a beer in my concept, but I do drink, of course, yes, but I'm not thinking it's a beer.
Yeah, for example, the closest thing to being that bad in England would be if you got a supermarket's own brand of beer, which nobody does, apart from students who want to make their friends sick. It's just horrible, watery. You can find something a bit like Skin in England, but nobody buys it on purpose, unless like so poor they can't afford something that's actually resembling beer. So yeah, Skin is not good. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Yes, I do drink, of course, but it's something different. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's okay. But so you have a bad impression about Carnival, yeah?
No, I enjoyed the party. The Ashe is a very kind of unique music, so we don't have anything you'd hear in England that's like Ashe. So it was quite interesting to hear for the first time. The sort of general vibe and energy of Carnival, I think, is very positive, and it's good fun. Big party. I like some of the carnival foods you have there. The churrasquinho, of course. It's probably cat and dog, but it's good.
Can be cat or can be dog. And you're,
Yeah,
you're a cat lover, yes?
yeah. It's not my
In
cats; they're
many,
alive. It's fine.
in many ways, in this a cat lover in many ways.
Yeah, there's
In this case.
the period you say periodipine with the Canada salt. That's
Ah, great.
the
And
the cassava in English.
it's,
We only have that word in our language because African people. It doesn't grow in England. Nobody knows what cassava is there, but you've got any following from Africa at the moment? I don't think so, but it'd be nice if we did. They would know the word cassava. It's a good vegetable. The
yeah.
mash with the sun-dried beef. If we're going to translate names, we can't make carne de sol
Yes.
in England. Not enough salt. Makes it
Yeah.
difficult to
You have a
make
good taste for
key
Brazilian
ingredient.
food.
Yeah,
You have a good
there's
taste for
two.
Brazilian food, so.
Yeah,
What?
there's two dishes by here I don't like that I've tried.
What?
Sarapatel and Mokoto. That's the two I can't deal with. The others, to my
Okay.
knowledge, are good. Uh,
Why?
everything
Why you
else,
think so bad about this food?
I've never liked liver, and they both taste like liver. So I didn't
Yeah.
like liver in England. You can get liver and onions is fairly common or traditional in England. I never liked it. So yeah,
That
if you're
makes
gonna put
sense.
if you're gonna put
That
liver in
makes sense.
things, it's not gonna taste good. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
makes
the
sense to
main
me.
one. Uh,
So you don't
it,
like passarinha too?
passarinha, not that much. I can eat it if it's got enough molio de baiana on it. It's spicy enough not to taste of liver anymore.
Hmm.
It's okay, but I don't really like it. That's the one thing
Yeah,
at the
this
baiana I don't eat a lot of. Everything else is good at the baianas.
yeah. These foods are made of some internal organs of the ox, and
Yeah,
that's I also don't like very much this food that's made of internal organ. Liver, with onions is pretty nice, good enough, but not so nice. But internal organs are not my favorite because it sounds like uh, it tastes like a little bit sweet sometimes, mixed with salt. I don't know if it's this that
yeah,
that makes me don't feel much comfortable. This mixing of salt and sweet, I don't like it very
yeah.
much.
The only offal I like is the chicken hearts on the barbecue.
Mhm.
I like
The
steak and
chicken heart.
kidney in England. You don't eat kidney much in
No,
Brazil.
you look at this. Imagine each one. It was a chicken.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. So you've eaten
creepy, huh?
about
Spooky.
you could eat like 5 or 6 of them. I'm like, that's from 5 or 6 different chickens I've eaten the hearts of now because it's just so small.
Bram
They're
Stoker
real
style.
and they're really good at chicken hearts.
You do?
Yeah, I really do like chicken hearts, but other bits in England, there's one thing that's quite common is steak and kidney. So it'd be chunks of beef that need slow cooking because they're probably what you call carne de segunda, and it comes with bits of lamb
Hmm.
kidney and the steak and kidney pie, which would be like a big empada of steak and kidney. That's good. That's something I like there. That's the only other offal that I like. Chicken hearts in Brazil. Some of the things with steak and kidney in Britain. But generally, these things not so good. I did eat one thing that was surprisingly good in France. There's a thing called an
Ah,
andouille, which is a type of sausage which is made with. I ate with horse, and I think what was the other one? I think you also make it out of might be pigs or cows. But I bought one home with horse. They get one
mhm.
intestine, stick it in the other intestine, boil it for a while, and then smoke it.
Oh,
It sounds disgusting, but it's really quite good.
and it
It's just
is.
intestine. It's
Taste
just
is
pure
good.
intestine. Yeah, it's quite smoky and it sounds like it's
It,
going to be
it,
absolutely horrible. But when you describe how it's made, I went to a factory to see how they made it. It was in Normandy, North France, and yeah, it's just one
look,
intestine inside the other, boiled and smoked. It's
it
good.
sounds like feijoada. It's one of those foods that you don't want to know what's in it. You eat it
Yeah,
first, And after you don't
Yeah,
discover what it's made of.
I made
But
I
many
made
things are like that.
feijoada there. The pay de porco or the pig trotter. Those people didn't want to eat
Hmm.
that in England. I'm like, hey, it's good. It's good.
But
All
it is,
these
it
bits.
is.
I
It's
recently
surprising.
saw with these increasing prices. I bought some pig's ears, salted pig's ears for feijoada. That's good. It's like pay de
Yeah.
porco with no bones in. So it's like the foot or it's a trotter. A pig has trotters in English. So yeah, the pig trotter and the pig's ears taste similar. Uh, but yeah, I think it's good to use all these random bits of animals and boil them all together with some beans. It's a quite a clever idea. Whoever came up with that.
It's a kind of conversation that is starting to get hungry.
Yeah,
But nice. Pretty cool. But yeah,
I,
I know this about it's kind of interesting because the food is connected to the culture of the place, many times of the history,
yeah,
and sometimes of discoveries, gastronomical discoveries that is
yeah,
made in each country. Sometimes we pick parts of different places and build our own, like the acarajé from that we have here. It's not just like the acarajé in this place. It was made in Africa in a city named Benin. Benin, yes. And it's
yeah.
quite different than the acarajé made here, but yes, they kept the
I've
differences
heard
and
from a couple of Nigerian people they have a carajé there, but it doesn't have all the things inside. They have it. They don't even fill their tin.
yeah.
How do they not fill it? That's wrong. They're doing it
But
wrong in Africa. They're not filling it up. There's a caroon, vatapa, and the
then
chili sauce and the
they
shrimp.
put fish. What?
They'll be like, what are they putting
oh,
this?
oh. In Brazil, many people will put it on ketchup in a pizza, and the Italians go crazy when
Yes.
they do that.
That make Italians go like this. They'll be very angry. Do you want to hear something
Sure.
disgusting? One of the first English students I had in this country, he said
Yeah.
that he eats his carajé with ketchup. I told my local Bayana I knew someone that did this. She was horrified.
Well,
Ketchup on a carajé is a crime. That's wrong. I don't know if he's
something
listening
about
to this, but
ketchup is tomato. Ketchup is tomato. Forget about
I
it.
don't actually like ketchup. It's too sweet.
So do I. I don't
So
like it. I like
yeah,
tomatoes, but not ketchup. I like
yeah.
mustard.
I
Mayonnaise too. I do.
I don't like the American mustard, the one you get here, 'cause it's just full of sugar and vinegar. In England,
The
we pure mustard, and we grind the mustard seeds. Or you buy it in powder already, but you can grind mustard seeds. It'll be the same thing. Then you mix it with water, and yeah, it doesn't taste like this American stuff that's full of chemicals and vinegar and sugar. It's a lot stronger. If you
and
want
incredibly
to spend
yellow. The American
yeah,
one.
yeah, it's yellow.
Yellow.
Mustard's yellow. Real mustard's yellow too. Dijon mustard, the French one, is just slightly weaker than the English one, but it's still not horrible, so it's still good. It's very expensive to buy Dijon mustard. Next time my
Oh,
mum comes to Brazil, she's going to bring some English mustard and some horseradish. Uh, they're things you don't get outside of England. And some good tea bags, some good English biscuits. She can bring some whiskey and some beer. Lots of the good things you don't get here. But yeah, that's how mustard actually is. The English mustard's the purest one. Yeah, should try. Can you buy mustard seeds in Brazil?
Some places we can do that,
Yeah.
but it's not so easy to find. I would
If
say.
you ever find mustard seeds, find them and crush them and mix it with water. You'll find out what mustard really tastes like.
In São Joaquim, we may find them. That very little
Yeah, they're very,
balls.
very, very little. Yeah.
There's a place in Bahia, in Alagoinha City. They have an open market where you can find all sorts of things. And it was the first time I could buy mustard, the seeds, indeed. But in some other city, once in a while, maybe São Joaquim we can find on. but not so common because not a spice much use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big thing. I think you use it more like North Americans and Germans would use mustard and ketchup, not like we would in Britain or how they would in France. Although you can buy extremely expensive Dijon mustard, but I would rather wait for my mum to bring the real deal, the real English stuff. But yeah, that's one of those things.
Yeah.
The most disgusting thing I've seen in Brazil for food, Pizza Rodizio in Rio de Janeiro, they put sushi on a pizza. I don't like sushi by itself, but sushi and pizza are both complete foods as they are. They should not be mixed. That
I
restaurant's
cannot
lucky I didn't
even
call the police.
imagine. It's a.
Nothing was actually that nice there.
Baking roll? How is it like? It's a baked.
None of the pizza there was good, but I didn't want that anywhere near me. But everything was quite poor standard. So there's something wrong with the chef if they think they can put sushi on pizza and it'd be okay.
Some creativities are really strange. As I admire really who can have so open mind to conceive this kind of things. Sushi beef, plain cheese in sushi, acarajé with ketchup. I really admire, but not me. Not me. I told the story about this some days, many times. I don't know why. This is one of those things that comes and go. It's about an ex-girlfriend that I had. She is indeed a gastronomy student. I hope she's not watching this live.
You never know.
She owns. She used me like a guinea pig. You know, guinea pig that makes some experiences. Yeah.
You want you to see if things are good or not.
Yeah, she made some crazy stuff and I was her guinea pig to taste it. And once she said, "But wow, I have something special for you when you come home. You're going to be very happy when I do that." And then, "Do you like bacon?" "Oh, I love bacon." "Okay, cool, that's it." I told the story 3 times this week. It was this. She got a bacon. Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty fry it, crispy, good. Immerse it in hot chocolate and put it on the freezer. Can you wonder what's that? It's a bacon candy bar, something like. Oh yeah.
There's very few. I didn't think there was any way you could possibly ruin bacon, but she found a way.
That's the point. And what could I do? What I would say, I didn't like. She was so. And that's really sometimes this creativity goes beyond the limits of my perception.
If you put a sausage and you wrap that in bacon, it's called a pig in blanket. Pigs in blankets. We have small sausages in England. We wrap them in streaky bacon. Yeah, a vomit face, well merited. Yep. In the comments. Yep. The sausage with the bacon around it, pigs in blankets at Christmas. Very, very good. Also, if you wrap chicken with bacon, streaky bacon, and cook that, chicken and bacon are brilliant together. I think shrimp with bacon has been known to work. Bacon and eggs, classic breakfast in Britain and North America. That's normal. Out of all the nice normal things she could have made with bacon and cheese sandwich, that would have been very good. Why chocolate and bacon?
Hey, you cannot have 2 big stars together at the same galaxy, yes, because chocolate's a starter. Yes, almost nobody say I do not like chocolate. Chocolate is something that most of people like. Bacon too. So if you put
it's only vegetarians that don't like bacon.
They like vegetarian bacon.
Yeah, that's
it's not bacon anyway. It's not bacon anyway. It's like Newton. You cannot have 2 big corpses together. What the mutual attraction is going to destroy them. So you cannot put bacon and chocolate together. It's against physics. It's against it's against everything. Yes, this not even not even heavy metal guys may like it.
I don't think she's got a Michelin star by now, if that's the kind of thing she's making.
Coincidence or not, 3 days later we broke up.
You broke up because of chocolate bacon?
I would say, yeah.
Didn't help.
It helped a lot. 90% of course. It starts with bacon and chocolate. What comes after? Okay, give me a break.
Yeah, that's a very, very strange thing.
I don't recommend nobody do that with the boyfriends or girlfriends. I don't recommend to this. Never. Bacon and chocolate will spoil your relationship. Believe in me.
It's probably destroy your stomach too. And you remember, as I did kind of partly warn you, I was going to give you some quick fire questions. It'll be a choice between one thing or the other. We'll start with Abara or Acarajé.
Acarajé.
Yeah, that's what everybody who's not health conscious says. Okay, Vatapá or Cararoo?
Vatapá, surely. I don't like okra.
You don't like okra?
It's a little bit sweet. I don't like it so much.
I like them a lot. I would probably. It's hard to choose between them two because they go together. Okay, moqueca or shinshin?
Oh.
That's got you that one.
Palm oil wings, moqueca.
Okay. Well, there's no palm oil in shinshin.
Not much as in acarajé, or as much in moqueca, so the more palm oil, more points.
Okay, I get you there. Okay, what's worse, skin or São Jorge? What's a worse beverage, skin or São Jorge?
Man, both undrinkable for reasonable people. I don't mean teenagers, because teenagers are not even reasonable people. São Jorge. São Jorge is a satanic thing. Yeah, São Jorge wine, not wine, yes, something like that. Do you know why? São Jorge is satanic. It's satanic. Yeah, totally. Like you saw the movie. I don't know in English. The Exorcist. That's a girl. Yes, that her head starts spinning off and she vomits in green.
Yeah.
São Jorge, that's the same, but you vomit in red.
Okay, so São Jorge is maybe worse. I've not drank it yet. I've avoided it. It's probably best to keep it that way. I would not feel well the day after drinking it, I don't think. Yeah.
I have to call a priest after drinking that.
So the Exorcist after, yeah. Okay. The Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones, of course.
They are
much uglier.
My dad's the same. Okay. The Who or the Clash? No, I didn't mean we'll say that for now.
Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Well, because they're kind of different styles, but in both I see the same huge energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Breaking things on the stage.
Yeah, there was a lot of breaking with Who things. We got taught that at school about the Who smashing things. It would have been fun to be in that band. Tonight,
The Clash.
That'd be my favourite two out of those two. Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple?
Oh, well. Early years, I would say Deep Purple. Early years.
Sounds like it's a book.
Even old albums like the Book of Taliesin from Deep Purple, even old ones, because of their energy.
Okay.
So, most of the Deep Purple songs are full of almost anger, This is pretty cool. Led Zeppelin, they have more traveling moments. Sometimes you are somewhere over the rainbow, and so in the beginning, early days, I would say Deep Purple, but nowadays I'm more Led Zeppelin way because I have my anger moments, but I'm more supernaturally out of the rainbow. I think that's the best way how to
Okay.
put Led Zeppelin right away.
The Sex Pistols or the Clash?
Sex Pistols.
Ah, you go Sex Pistols there. Well, what does it for you? The request for anarchy? The calling the Queen a fascist in a song?
Oh, I didn't take it as a fascist song.
No, the God Save the Queen. God Save the Queen,
God
a
save.
fascist regime. You have considered it.
There's a Brazilian band named Os Incríveis that they have made one music that is Eu te amo, meu Brasil, eu te amo, meu coração é verde, amarelo, branco, azul, anil. Some people call that they are fascist because of this, or bolsominions, like we say today, but
Yeah, that's the new word, isn't it?
many times it's not the intention of the artist.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was about
No, it's
God Save the Queen. It's something. It was.
God Save the Queen of the Sex Pistols. They wrote a song calling the Queen a fascist because they said God Save the Queen, her fascist regime. They released this on her 25th or silver jubilee, so she'd been Queen 25 years. And they released a song mocking the Queen, saying she was a fascist and all these things. Then there's they were always in the era saying this, and Johnny Rotten now, he voted for Donald Trump. He's kind of a massive hypocrite, so I really don't like the guy anymore. Kind of makes it hard to appreciate his music when you find out what a bad person he is. Same reason I struggle to listen to the Smiths because of Morrissey. I found out he was a terrible person before I heard his music. Made it difficult. But anyway, I would go Clash.
But hold on. If so, people think or thought that if they say Queen, God Save the Queen in the lyrics is because they are fascist? Is it?
No. It was his song. He said, God Save the... Because the national anthem in Britain, God Save
That's
the
a mockery,
Queen.
yes? It's a mockery.
Yeah.
It's a mockery.
Yeah, it was a complete mockery of the Queen. Saying she was a fascist. Saying she ain't no human being was another line in it. It was a song that was really, really controversial. They were the first people to swear on TV. So they were always agitating the establishment a lot in Britain. So I do kind of respect what they were then. What the guys become now, don't like. But what they did then, I kind of had a lot of time for. What's he like? He's... the singer from the Sex Pistols said he was going to vote for Donald Trump before the last US election. He'd been in USA for long enough. So he's gone from saying, criticising the Queen because she's too right-wing and so on. And then he's gone and said he was supporting publicly Donald Trump. Imagine. Sid Vicious would be spinning in his grave if he found out his bandmate was doing that. He was talking about being an anarchist, and now he makes butter adverts for the corporate world. I think he was just a bit of a poser pretending to be this kind of bad man anarchist. But yeah.
What is to be an anarchist for you? What is to be an anarchist?
He's been wanting to completely abolish the state and live in anarchy. That's kind of what a lot of these punk guys said they wanted. But yeah, he was saying one thing in his songs, and then it's all different now. He's old and grumpy.
But do you think that the anarchist is someone that don't accept any kind of... Are you there?
System, yeah.
Are you there? Oh.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, don't accept any kind of system.
But I think that anarchist is necessarily someone that do not accept any kind of rule and kind of limitation.
Yeah. And that's what he said he was, but obviously he was just saying it because he thought it made him look cool, I think. It's the reason a lot of people do a lot of things.
or just about the
Yes.
rebellion, because the rebellion is not because
Yeah.
necessarily you are against everything, but because you want to give a new order that is your.
Yeah. There's one of the things I really like. Yeah. One of the things I really like about punk rock, especially, is the kind of rebellious streak in it. There was this thing about going away from conventional musical talent, going away from what was fashionable. There was attacks on the fashion industry. A lot of punk rock people were very, very nice people. I think Joe Strummer, the frontman from The Clash, is probably the nicest rock star Britain's ever had. In terms of a lot of what he said, a lot of politically motivated songs that wanted justice. He grew up in he was making his music in a tough time in Britain as well. So I think he was somebody more important than a lot. But I think people enjoy the Clash's music, but it was all over the world without actually knowing what it meant. So any Bolsominians listening to the Clash say Joe Strummer would not approve of your political ideas.
It happened.
He absolutely
It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet
It's
there's
like a black
Bolsominians with
Nazi.
Chico Black albums
There
in their
is.
album.
Like black Nazi. It sounds strange, but they
Yeah.
do exist. They do exist.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how, but they do. But the animal man is a strange animal. I always think that.
Yeah.
Animal
they're
is a
awesome.
strange and yeah. That's the strange, the amazing ability of being equal and different at the same time. Yes, there's no one like no one, and sometimes you're forced to be like the others. But yes, that's why I'm asking about the anarchism, because one rule for everybody sounds difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially
This
when
is good
those in
for
power
everybody.
kind of bear rules are set. Yeah. There's that's the thing. The
But
people will naturally
is it
disagree with each
necessary?
other.
Yeah, but it's necessary. Necessary. It has to be something done, something built to be destroyed. So
Yep.
yes, the absolute, the absolute inertia of maintain this structure, maintain this rule forever, keep this way of thinking forever. It depends of the existence of the iconoclast thing. It's necessary the
Yeah.
presence of the destroyer, the anarchist, the rebellion,
Yeah.
yes, the fallen angel. The fallen angel is necessary. One
Yeah.
depends of the other anyway. So there is not complete anarchy, and there is not complete structured things.
Okay.
Yes.
One thing I did want to get in, you have a specific hobby with music and heavy metal. Is there a band that you're in now you would like to shamelessly self-promote? Now's the time.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, let me talk about heavy metal. Rock in general lines.
Okay.
Here in Bahia, Salvador, it's a place that many people, even in Brazil, have a kind of prejudice about the rock made in Bahia. They forgot that a great icon named Raul Seixas were
Big fan.
from here. Yeah. And they just consider that, but nowadays, many people think, oh, the rock in Bahia is Raul Seixas and Pitty, and maybe Camisa de Venus. No, there's much more than this happening, still happening. Yeah. Some bands that exist nowadays in Bahia that I recommend everybody knows, besides the bands I do sing. You may know bands like Dreamlands. You may know bands like Mao. Everybody should know the bands from here. Bands that I've made part, like Blessed in Fire. It's a great band. Soul Wind.
That sounds like that's a cool band name, Blessed in Fire. That's a cool name.
Sounds gospel, but no, it's not.
Lamb of God sounds like it's gospel, but Lamb of God's a hardcore heavy metal band. So
Yeah, and the other
it's
one, So In too. Yeah, and some other rock bands here that that plays more Salt One. Yes, like Jato Invisível is a very cool band that I like too. Bands that I think nowadays more than any other is Portal.
mhm,
Portal. It was a heavy metal band from the 90s that I've had,
mhm.
and we are coming back now after sitting together for having some beer. We decided to go back to the job, the good job. Yeah. And that is what I really recommend, guys. You can search it easily in Instagram. Go by my proper Instagram. You can
Are you
connect
still
Portal Band.
singing? Are you still singing in your heavy metal band? What's your band
Yes, I
called?
do.
Yeah, go tell everyone about your
Portal.
band. For
Yeah, now Portal. Portal.
Portal.
Yes.
Got any
It's not
upcoming
because it's in English or
shows?
Portuguese.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I, I
what's
did it. I did it 2 days ago.
yeah?
We had a concert in Cajazeiras Days. Do you know this country?
Cazilleros.
Cajazeiras it's a country. Different, look
Yeah.
like a country,
It's
but
that
it's so
place that's
far from
really far
everywhere.
up. Yeah.
Cajazeiras Days, and we've been there in Ganges too.
Okay.
Uh, that's it. I'm still singing. Yes, I cannot stop. My
Yeah.
first concert as musician was at the same day I gave my first English classes. So I cannot
Ah,
say that I am a musician who became a teacher or a teacher who
they've been
has
side by
become,
side the whole time.
yes, like the two sides
Okay.
of the coin.
Yeah. As obviously, I'm the other way around. As a teacher, I was already an English speaker long before, and it's learning to be more Brazilian rather than the other way around. Always ends up an interesting experience. So this live video will be saved onto my Instagram page. Also, it will be available on YouTube. And Praxedes, if you can send me some links to the bands you've recommended. Oh, your own band, so I don't get them mixed
Cool,
up. Your own
cool.
band. If there's an Instagram or something like this, I can tag them in. Put a link on the YouTube version for anybody who wants to check it out, and there'll be a tag of each. And yeah, people will be able to find. It was very good to talk again. It's been a while, and very good to have this live. Um, and yeah, I'll be having these lives more regularly. Try to get different guests with a different English language experience, and they'll all be available on my YouTube as well after, as well as Instagram. Okay, I hope everyone that's tuned in has enjoyed themselves. Hope you've found this a good experience too, Praxedes. Anything to say
My
to the
pleasure.
public before departing?
Well, pretty nice being here. Yes, it was a, a great invitation. I like it a lot. Nice to do something connected to English with you again, lighter
Yeah,
than the usual classes. Yes,
yeah.
I love it a lot. Yes, thank you one more time for inviting me.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And everyone else, there'll be some regular posts to help you learn. And I'll have another guest booked in for next week. Uh, See you all later. Have a nice week, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.